The screen flickered in the dimly lit living room of Carrie Underwood's Nashville home. She sat cross-legged on the couch, a cup of tea in hand, scrolling through her phone after a long day. The evening was quiet, the kind of calm she cherished after years of non-stop touring and recording. But that calm was about to shatter. A notification popped up, a clip from a popular late-night talk show. The host, a man known for his biting humor and no-holds-barred commentary, was at it again. This time, his target was her. Carrie hesitated for a moment, then clicked play. The host leaned back in his chair, a smirk playing on his lips as he addressed the audience. "Let's talk about Carrie Underwood," he began, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "The queen of country music, the angelic voice of Middle America. But let's be real, her new song? It's like she's trying to remind us she's still relevant. And all that talk about faith and family? Cute, but maybe it's time to step into the 21st century." The audience erupted in laughter, but Carrie felt a knot tighten in her stomach. He didn't stop there. "I mean, come on," he continued, "she's singing about small-town values while living in a mansion. How authentic is that?" The clip ended, but the sting lingered. Carrie set her phone down, her mind racing. She wasn't one to engage in public feuds or respond to every critic, but this felt different. This wasn't just about her music, it was about her identity, her journey, and the values she held dear. She took a deep breath, her fingers tapping lightly on the edge of her teacup. The quiet of the room was now heavy with tension. She knew she couldn't let this slide. Not this time. Meanwhile, the clip was already making waves online. Fans were outraged, flooding social media with messages of support for Carrie. "How dare he," one tweet read. "Carrie Underwood is a national treasure," another exclaimed. The hashtag Stand With Carrie began trending within hours. But Carrie wasn't focused on the hashtags or the viral outrage. She was thinking about her roots, the small town in Oklahoma where she grew up, the church choir where she first discovered her love for music, and the countless fans who had supported her over the years. This wasn't just about her, it was about everyone who had ever been told they weren't good enough, that their values were outdated, that their dreams were too small. She stood up, her resolve hardening. It was time to speak her truth. Carrie Underwood's journey to stardom was anything but ordinary. Born and raised in the small town of Chakotah, Oklahoma, she grew up in a close-knit family where faith and hard work were the cornerstones of life. Her parents, both humble and hardworking, instilled in her the values of perseverance and kindness. From a young age, Carrie found solace in music. Whether she was singing in the church choir or performing at local fairs, her voice had a way of capturing hearts. But life in Chakotah wasn't always easy. Money was tight, and opportunities were limited. Carrie often felt like her dreams of becoming a singer were just that, dreams. Yet, she never gave up. She worked odd jobs to save money, sang at every chance she got, and poured her heart into every performance. Her big break came when she auditioned for American Idol in 2005. The world watched as the small-town girl with the big voice wowed the judges and won the competition. Overnight, Carrie became a household name. But fame didn't change her. She remained grounded, always remembering where she came from. Her music reflected her roots, songs about love, faith, and the simple joys of life resonated with millions. As her career soared, Carrie faced her share of challenges. The pressure to conform to industry standards, the constant scrutiny of the media, and the struggle to balance her personal and professional life tested her resilience. Yet, she stayed true to herself, using her platform to inspire others. Her faith played a significant role in her life. She often spoke about how her beliefs guided her through tough times and kept her grounded. Her marriage and the birth of her children brought her even closer to her roots, reminding her of the importance of family and community. Carrie's journey was a testament to the power of perseverance and staying true to oneself. But now, as she sat in her Nashville home, the talk show host's words echoed in her mind. They weren't just attacking her music, they were attacking everything she stood for. She thought about her fans, the people who had supported her from the beginning. They were the ones who had bought her albums, attended her concerts, and sent her letters of encouragement. They were the ones who had made her dreams come true. She owed it to them, and to herself, to respond. Carrie walked over to her desk, opened her laptop, and began typing. Her fingers moved quickly, her thoughts pouring onto the screen. She didn't want to lash out or stoop to the host's level. Instead, she wanted to speak from the heart, to remind everyone of the values that had guided her journey. As she typed, she thought about the young girl in Chakota who had dared to dream big. That girl was still a part of her, and she wasn't about to let anyone diminish her story. The talk show host, a man whose name had become synonymous with controversy, had built his career on pushing boundaries. Born in a bustling city, he had always been drawn to the spotlight. From a young age, he had a knack for making people laugh, or squirm, with his sharp wit and unfiltered opinions. His rise to fame was meteoric, fueled by his ability to say what others were too afraid to say. He started as a stand-up comedian, performing in small clubs where his edgy humor quickly gained attention. His big break came when he was offered a late-night talk show. The show became a hit, thanks to his no-holds-barred interviews and biting commentary on celebrities, politics, and pop culture. He wasn't just a comedian, he was a provocateur, someone who thrived on stirring the pot. But with fame came arrogance. Over time, the host developed a reputation for being ruthless. He didn't just critique, he mocked, belittled, and often crossed the line. His fans loved him for it, calling him bold and unapologetic. But to many, he was simply a bully hiding behind the guise of comedy. The night he mocked Carrie Underwood was no different. He had read a few headlines about her new song and decided it was fair game. To him, it was just another segment, another way to get laughs and boost ratings. He didn't think about the person behind the music, the journey she had taken, or the millions of people who admired her. To him, it was all material. After the show aired, he sat backstage, scrolling through social media. The clip was already trending, and the comments were pouring in. Some praised him for his honesty, while others called him out for being cruel. He smirked at the criticism. Controversy was good for business, and he knew how to play the game. But this time, something felt different. The backlash was more intense than usual. Fans of Carrie Underwood were flooding his mentions, defending her with a passion he hadn't anticipated. He brushed it off at first, confident that the storm would blow over. After all, he had faced criticism before and always came out on top. What he didn't realize was that Carrie wasn't like the other celebrities he had targeted. She had a loyal fanbase, a story that resonated with millions, and a quiet strength that made her unshakable. This wasn't just another segment, it was a turning point, though he didn't know it yet. As the hours passed, the clip continued to spread. News outlets picked it up, and the story gained traction. The host's team tried to downplay the situation, but the damage was done. For the first time in his career, he felt a flicker of doubt. Was this going to blow up in his face? Meanwhile, Carrie was preparing her response. She wasn't interested in a war of words, she wanted to set the record straight. Her statement would be a reflection of her character, graceful, honest, and unyielding. The stage was set for a clash that would captivate the nation. The internet is a strange and unpredictable beast. One moment, a clip can be a fleeting joke, and the next, it can ignite a firestorm. That's exactly what happened when the talk show host segment mocking Carrie Underwood hit the web. Within hours, it was everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. People couldn't stop talking about it. Fans of Carrie were furious. They flooded social media with messages of support, sharing stories of how her music had touched their lives. Carrie Underwood is the voice of a generation, one fan wrote. She doesn't deserve this kind of disrespect, another added. The hashtag #StandWithCarrie began trending worldwide, with millions of people using it to express their solidarity. But not everyone was on Carrie's side. The talk show host had his own loyal following, people who admired his tell-it-like-it-is attitude. They defended him, arguing that he was just doing his job. "It's comedy," one comment read. If she can't take a joke, maybe she's in the wrong business. The media quickly picked up on the story. News outlets ran headlines like "Talk show host slams Carrie Underwood" and "Carrie Underwood fans fight back." Pundits debated whether the host had gone too far, while late-night comedians used the controversy as fodder for their own monologues. Carrie, however, remained silent. She didn't post on social media or give interviews. Her silence only added to the intrigue. What was she thinking? Was she planning to respond? The speculation grew, and the tension mounted. Meanwhile, the talk show host tried to play it cool. During his next episode, he addressed the controversy with his usual bravado. "Look, people, it's just a joke," he said, shrugging. "If you can't laugh at yourself, what can you laugh at?" The audience chuckled, but the laughter felt forced. Even his most loyal fans were starting to wonder if he had crossed a line. Behind the scenes, though, things were heating up. Sponsors began to express concern. One major brand quietly pulled its ads from his show, citing a misalignment of values. Ratings, which had been steady, started to dip. The host's team scrambled to contain the fallout, but it was clear that this wasn't going away anytime soon. As the days passed, the pressure continued to build. Carrie's fans organized online campaigns, urging people to boycott the talk show. Petitions circulated, demanding an apology. The host, who had always thrived on controversy, found himself in uncharted territory. For the first time in his career, he felt the weight of public opinion turning against him. And then, just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any bigger, Carrie broke her silence. The internet held its breath as Carrie Underwood's social media accounts lit up with a new post. It wasn't a long rant or a heated clapback, it was a carefully crafted statement, written with the same grace and poise that had defined her career. The caption read simply, "From the heart." The post began with gratitude. "To my fans, my friends, and everyone who has supported me over the years, thank you. Your love and encouragement mean more to me than words can express." She acknowledged the controversy without naming the talk show host directly, choosing instead to focus on the values that had guided her life and career. "I've always believed in the power of music to bring people together," she wrote. "It's not just about the songs, it's about the stories we tell, the emotions we share, and the connections we build. My music is a reflection of who I am, a small-town girl who dared to dream big. It's about faith, family, and the simple joys of life. These are the things that matter to me, and I make no apologies for that." She addressed the criticism head-on, but with a tone of quiet strength. "I know not everyone will understand my journey or my choices, and that's okay. What's not okay is dismissing someone's story because it doesn't fit a certain narrative. We all have our struggles, our triumphs, and our truths. Let's celebrate that instead of tearing each other down." The statement ended on a hopeful note. To anyone who has ever been told they're not enough, that their dreams are too small, or that their values don't matter, don't listen. Keep going. Keep believing. And most importantly, keep being true to yourself. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Fans flooded the comments with messages of love and support. "This is why we love you, Carrie," one fan wrote. "You're a class act," another added. Even some of the talk show host's critics praised her for handling the situation with dignity. The media went into overdrive. News outlets dissected every word of her statement, calling it a masterclass in grace under pressure. Social media exploded with posts praising Carrie's response, and the hashtag #StandWithCarrie trended for days. The talk show host, however, was noticeably silent. He didn't address Carrie's statement on his show or on social media. It was a rare moment of restraint for a man who rarely missed an opportunity to double down. But the damage was done. Carrie's response had shifted the narrative. What had started as a controversy was now a conversation about respect, authenticity, and the power of staying true to oneself. Carrie Underwood's statement didn't just resonate, it ignited a wildfire. Within minutes of her post going live, the internet exploded. Fans, celebrities, and even strangers who had never listened to country music rallied behind her. Her words were shared millions of times, accompanied by heartfelt captions and personal stories. On Twitter, the hashtag #StandWithCarrie became a global trend. People from all walks of life shared how her music had inspired them, how her journey reminded them of their own struggles, and how her response had given them the courage to stand up for themselves. Memes and videos flooded the platform, many of them praising her grace and strength. Instagram was no different. Fans posted photos of themselves holding up signs that read, "Thank you, Carrie," or "Faith, Family, and Music." Celebrities also joined the chorus of support. Fellow musicians, actors, and even athletes shared her statement, adding their own messages of solidarity. "Carrie Underwood is a class act," one celebrity wrote. "This is how you handle adversity with dignity," another posted. Facebook groups dedicated to Carrie's music saw a surge in activity. Fans organized virtual listening parties, where they played her songs and shared stories about what her music meant to them. One fan wrote, "Her music got me through the hardest time of my life. She's more than a singer, she's a lifeline." But it wasn't just fans who were moved. Critics and commentators weighed in, too. Many praised Carrie for taking the high road. In an age of cancel culture and clapbacks, Carrie Underwood reminds us that kindness and strength can coexist, one journalist wrote. Another noted, her response wasn't just a defense of herself, it was a defense of everyone who's ever been told they're not enough. Even some of the talk show host's usual supporters began to question his actions. "I used to think his humor was edgy," one fan admitted. "But this felt mean-spirited. Carrie didn't deserve that." The backlash against the host grew. His social media accounts were flooded with comments, calling him out for his comments. Some demanded an apology, while others simply expressed their disappointment. "You messed with the wrong person," one comment read. "Carrie's fans don't play." The host, who was used to being in control, found himself on the defensive. He tried to brush off the criticism, but it was clear that this time was different. The public's reaction was too loud, too widespread, to ignore. Meanwhile, Carrie's latest single, which had been mocked in the original segment, began climbing the charts. Streaming numbers skyrocketed, and radio stations reported a surge in requests for her music. It was as if the controversy had reminded people why they loved her in the first place. The internet had spoken, and its message was clear: Carrie Underwood wasn't just a singer, she was a symbol of resilience, authenticity, and grace. The talk show host had always thrived on controversy. For years, his sharp tongue and no-holds-barred approach had earned him ratings, fame, and a loyal fanbase. But this time, the backlash was different. It wasn't just a few angry tweets or a temporary dip in ratings, this was a full-blown storm, and he was caught in the middle of it. The first sign of trouble came when one of his major sponsors pulled their ads from his show. "We believe in supporting content that aligns with our values," the company said in a statement. "The recent comments made on the show do not reflect those values." Other sponsors followed suit, leaving the host scrambling to fill the gaps. Ratings, which had been steady for years, began to drop. Viewers who had once tuned in for his edgy humor were now turning away, turned off by what they saw as cruelty disguised as comedy. Social media was flooded with calls to boycott the show, and the hashtag #cancel the host began trending. Behind the scenes, the host's team was in damage control mode. They urged him to issue an apology, but he resisted. "It's just a joke," he insisted. "People need to lighten up." But as the days passed and the pressure mounted, even he began to realize that this wasn't going away. Finally, during a live taping of his show, he addressed the controversy. "Look, I know some people were upset about my recent comments," he said, his tone uncharacteristically subdued. "I never meant to hurt anyone. It's comedy, it's what I do. But if I crossed a line, I'm sorry." The apology fell flat. Critics called it insincere, while fans of Carrie Underwood saw it as too little, too late. "An apology isn't enough," one fan tweeted. "You mocked her values, her journey, and her fans. That's not comedy, that's cruelty." the fallout continued. Media outlets that had once praised the host for his boldness now criticized him for his insensitivity. He built his career on tearing others down, one article read. Now, it's coming back to bite him. Even his colleagues began to distance themselves. Guests who had once lined up to appear on his show now declined invitations, fearing association with the controversy. The host, who had always been the center of attention, found himself increasingly isolated. As the weeks passed, the show's ratings continued to decline. Rumors began to circulate that the network was considering canceling it altogether. The host, who had once seemed untouchable, was now facing the very real possibility of losing everything he had worked for. It was a humbling moment for a man who had spent his career mocking others. For the first time, he was on the receiving end of the kind of scrutiny he had so often dished out. And it was a bitter pill to swallow. While the talk show host faced the consequences of his actions, Carrie Underwood's star continued to rise. Her heartfelt response to the controversy had not only silenced her critics, but also solidified her place as a beloved figure in the music industry. Her latest single, Once Mocked, became a chart-topping hit, resonating with fans old and new. Carrie took the moment as an opportunity to reflect on her journey. The story of Carrie Underwood and the talk show host became more than just a viral moment. It became a lesson in resilience, accountability, and the power of staying true to oneself. As the dust settled, people began to reflect on what had happened and what it meant. For Carrie, the experience was a reminder of why she had started making music in the first place. It wasn't about fame or accolades, it was about connecting with people, sharing stories, and spreading positivity. She continued to focus on her music, her family, and her faith, using her platform to inspire others. Her campaign, Raise Your Voice, grew into a movement, empowering people to share their stories and celebrate their journeys. The talk show host, on the other hand, faced a reckoning. His show was eventually cancelled, and he faded from the spotlight. In a rare interview months later, he admitted that the controversy had been a wake-up call. "I thought I was just being funny," he said. "But I realize now that my words have consequences. I hurt people, and for that, I'm truly sorry." His apology, though late, was seen as a step in the right direction. Some forgave him, while others felt it was too little, too late. Regardless, his fall from grace served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of arrogance and the importance of empathy. The public, too, learned from the saga. The overwhelming support for Carrie showed the power of standing together in the face of negativity. It reminded people that kindness and authenticity matter, and that everyone has a story worth respecting. As for Carrie, she emerged from the experience stronger than ever. Her music continued to inspire, her message continued to resonate, and her legacy continued to grow. She had faced adversity with grace, turned a negative situation into a positive one, and reminded the world of the importance of staying true to oneself. In the end, the story wasn't just about a talk show host's mockery or a singer's response, it was about the power of resilience, the importance of accountability, and the enduring strength of character. It was a reminder that, no matter what challenges we face, we have the power to rise above them and come out stronger on the other side. And that, perhaps, was the greatest lesson of all.